I think it's always very important to go back to the original quotations and the original source of a story. And Julian Shepherd, one among many people today, has brought up the quotation of Mrs. Thatcher, which was made in, I think, 1987, in an interview for Women's Own, in a, I think the article was called No Such Thing as Society. And she said, she'd been Prime Minister, of course, from 1979 through to 1990. And she was responsible for a whirlwind of social change and privatisation, the reduction of the welfare state, the catastrophic attack on miners and the North, the division of our country. But I think at heart, I think she was a very divisive character. But I think probably she would never have seen herself as being at fault. She would never have seen herself as being morally questionable. I think she always felt that she was doing the right thing in a way that I don't think Boris could possibly have said. And I don't think, I think Theresa May would have been hard-pressed to have said that she was doing the right thing, particularly when she was Home Secretary. Similarly, I think what's the forgettable person? Anyway, whoever that is. We've had a number of prime ministers recently who I think would quite happily, if pressed on it, have left their morality at the door. Thatcher, I don't think, was one of those. I think she was responsible for a lot of damage, but I don't think she would have been aware that she was causing it, and I think she would have seen it as collateral damage in the necessary evil of trying to reform society. And a lot of the reforms she made were not changed when Blair came to power, and I think that is significant. Particularly a lot of the social reforms and the union reforms. So if they were so damaging, why did Labour not change them? As for the society line, it's quite a lengthy paragraph. It says, I think we've gone through a period when too many children and people have been given to understand I have a problem. It's the government's job to cope with it. Or I have a problem. I will go and get a grant to cope with it. I'm homeless. The government must house me. And so they're casting their problems on society. And who is society? There is no such thing. They are individual men and women, and there are families, and no government can do anything except through people, and people look to themselves first. It is, I think, one of the tragedies in which many of the benefits we give, which were meant to reassure people that if they were sick or ill, there was a safety net, and there was help, that many of the benefits which were meant to help people who were unfortunate, that was the objective. But somehow there are some people who have been manipulating the system. When people come and say, but what is the point of working? I can get as much on the dough. So what she was trying to say, and it's quite clear, what she was trying to say, and she's only been partly quoted, and she's been correctly quoted. She did say there is no such thing as society, but she went on to say that society is made up of individuals, and it's those individuals who take action. There is no single monolithic organisation that will help. It's individuals working together as an organisation, as a union, as a charity, as a workplace, working together, that forms the backbone of support for our system. And good heavens, we need it. But if individuals stop working, if they think, oh, no, society is going to do that, there will be no society. There is no society. Society does not exist without people making an effort. And I think what we have seen in the last few years is people stopping making that effort. And partly that's a result of lockdown. Partly it's a result of disappointment in government. And why are we surprised? When we've had pillocks like Boris in power, and Suella Braverman and Nadine Dorries, and the pillars of this elite community are people like Andrea Leadsom. Let me laugh. It's absurd. And Jacob Rees-Mogg, preening, rather more happy to preen on television than to vote in Parliament. I don't understand this obsession with an abrogation of responsibility. And it comes from the top. So if the people at the top don't have responsibility for doing their job, why should we expect anybody else to take that responsibility? There is no such thing as any organisation existing without people working their backsides off to make sure that every cog in that machine works to the best it possibly can work. And if one cog is taken out, the machine starts to crumble. Like John Donne. No man is an island. We're part of the whole. So from that point of view, Brexit again has given us a bad example. We can't divorce ourselves from the whole. We can't divorce ourselves from the continent. We are part of that continent. Just as we are part of our local society, we are part of our local network of communities, whether those are church, police, or whatever. We are all part, and we bemoan the loss of our shops. Well, the loss of our shops is because nobody needs to go there. Nobody's going there. I went to buy some pens from Ryman's today, and the pens have changed their position in the shop. In fact, you can't buy them in a pack anymore. You have to buy them separately, and I had to get support from the till in order to locate them. And I was told, oh, well, they were... They've been given instructions by high command elsewhere that all these things have to move around. Well, if they move around, someone like me who is racing in to get something that they know is available on this particular wall, it's not there, in the end, I'm not going to bother. I'm just going to order it online. And I said, can you convey that message to your bosses? And they shrugged, and they didn't seem terribly keen on the idea. But, unless these messages are sent up the system, there's another shop that will simply be gone because nobody's ever in that shop. And why not? Because most of the things it provides can be got as easily with so much less effort online. And that's the problem. Our society is crumbling because people don't take the time to do their job. And they're told to do this, they're told to do that, because people think change is and chaos is going to make people struggle all the more and value what little bit of success they get when they finally find what they want. No, we're going to stop taking trains if we can't negotiate our way around Birmingham New Street. We're going to stop going to Ryman's. We're going to stop going to WH Smith when we learn they don't pay their people properly. Why would we want to support all these completely chaotic institutions? Because if we don't, if the people who are employing people don't respect the people who are being employed, if they just command them to do ridiculous things and they don't trust them to take note of their customers, the customers will go. We're only a society because we're made up of lots of individuals working together. If we stop working together, that society disappears. And that is what Thatcher was saying. And I think she's right.